welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. If you're new here, hey, my name is Katie and I'm glad that you're here. And if this isn't your first time here, welcome back. Thanks for coming back to hang out with me. Tonight I am hopping on to join you guys for a WIP Chat, which if you haven't heard of a WIP Chat before, what it is we are together working on our WIPs, or work in progress, and I'm chatting with you a little bit. So feel free to grab whatever you happen to be working on, whether it's diamond painting or something else crafty, or I even sometimes will listen to WIP Chats when I'm doing some chores around the house. So whatever sounds fun for you. So this is actually take 2 at recording this video. I recorded a whole long WIP Chat last night, and I felt like it was all over the place, and I was going to post it anyway. But then as I was going back through to listen through, I realized that I was having some audio issues. So I mentioned in that video, which you guys aren't going to see, so I'll say it again. This is a little bit of an experimental video for me because I'm trying out a few different new things setup-wise. I got my hands on some lighting that I'm hoping is going to be more helpful for when I'm recording things. I've been struggling with having things show up true to color since my overhead light where I record is yellow. It yellows everything out. And I also picked up a new recording arm just to see if I can get a little bit better angle than what I was able to work with before. So please bear with me, and also please do not hesitate whatsoever to give me feedback from your perspective if there's something that's bothering you, from the tiniest thing to the biggest thing. It's fine. I'm welcoming your feedback, so please don't hesitate to share it in the comments or shoot me over an email. So actually, before I get into it, I have a couple of happy mail things I wanted to open up, especially because one of these I know is something that I am going to use tonight while I work. This is a cover minder order from a store I haven't tried before called Ellie's Craft Den, and I was thinking ahead to the Alice in a Winter Wonderland, the event that Lindsay over at Life with Lindsay is putting on in the month of January through Valentine's Day. I'll link her channel below. She's wonderful and amazing, and if you don't follow her on YouTube and Instagram, you absolutely should, because she's wonderful. And she is putting on her very first diamond painting event starting in January. So anyway, if you couldn't guess, it's Alice in Wonderland themed. So if that's something that, if you like participating in events, go ahead and get a kit ordered. Okay. So, super cute. Okay, I have to get used to my little in frame here. So this is the business card. And then, okay, again, sorry, bear with me, I'm getting in frame. This says Drink Me. I thought that was so cute, and it's pink, which is one of my absolute favorite colors. So I thought that would be a really cute cover minder to use for that. I'm going to show you guys that. And then I was lucky enough to get my hands on a new wax product in the market. On the market? In the market? I am loving this metallic blue bag. And this is from Laura over at her Etsy shop. Is called WeWax, and her Instagram handle is Anxiety Art Adventures, and she's very sweet. She included, ooh, hi Chew, I'm gonna eat that after this. So she just launched this new wax product, which I'm very excited about. Okay, be smarter than the bag, Katie. And I think this was from her second release. She's released some different scents, and I always love to try new things. So here we are. This, I believe, is Fruit Loop scent. Let me get a good sniff here. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. So I want to play with this tonight and see. Here's her business card. I'll link her below. WIP Wax. That's so, so cute. I always love when we have new makers in the community. It's great to be able to support people in the community. And I always love trying new things. I can be kind of loyal once I find something that I love, and I can once I find a product that really works well for me. Sometimes I'm reluctant to branch out. But in the case of something like this, I'm always willing to try new waxes, especially when it smells good. So let's see. Okay, I think I saw from someone it actually works well if you stab it. Guys are getting the experimental side with me here. Okay. Kind of made a mess there. Is it packed in? I like the texture on it. It's pretty soft. I'm used to like the patty wax style where you sort of like dig at it. So we'll see. Okay, let's give this a try. It looks like it's pretty well in there. Yeah, let's give this a try. As far as what else I'm using and working on tonight, so the canvas that I'm working on is from DIY Moon Shop or Die Moon Shop, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And the kit is The Stars Who Listen from the artist Margaret Morales. It's my first DIY Moon Shop kit, and I have been so excited to work on it. And I feel like it's been a little bit of a long time coming, even though it hasn't. I've had this kit for a minute, but between the September Chuck Along and then the Drills and Chills, I had a lot of like fall and Halloween themed kits that I was anxious to work on and get to, which I loved. But I have a lot of kits that I'm really, really excited about working on. And this was, of course, one of them. I had heard a lot of wonderful things about DIY Moon Shop, and so I was very curious to try them, especially to see if they, for lack of a better term, if they'd like live up to the hype, because they are a little on the spendier side compared to some other companies. And I feel like for a while, you rarely heard a bad thing about them at all. And then more recently, I'm hearing with some people that have been a little more disappointed with various things about their quality. So with starting this kit and kitting it up and everything, I tried to go into it with the same mindset that I do anything that I'm going to share my thoughts on. Well, just anything, period. Is just a very open and neutral mindset where I try not to let other people's reviews and opinions and thoughts give me a bias ahead of time. Sometimes I'm better at that than others, of course. But my first impressions of this kit, I am in love with the colors. The colors are gorgeous, and this probably doesn't look like a whole lot to you, especially if you're not familiar with this artwork, but looking at this side by side with the artwork, the rendering is really, really wonderful. And quite frankly, one of my highest priorities, one of the things that carries the most weight for me when it comes to diamond painting kits and what I enjoy and what my priorities are, is I really, really care about the rendering. Because, when it comes down to it, if you end up with bad drills, hypothetically, you could just replace them. If you end up with a wrinkly canvas, there are things you can do to flatten it out. If you, even if the adhesive isn't perfect, you can sort of work around that. But unless you're gonna go in and rechart stuff, the rendering that they send you is the rendering you get. So frankly, my very, very top priority when it comes to kits is the rendering. So far I'm really pleased with the rendering. I did go with the largest size available for this canvas, and that's generally been my MO with the DIY moonshot kits and with kits in general. I tend to like bigger is better because I love, love, love getting as much detail as I possibly can. So that'll help, I'm sure. But yeah, let me grab another color. Let's do this dark blue. So yes, I'm really pleased with the rendering. The drills are pretty good. I've had some, this is round drills, so you are less likely to run into issues with round drills, but on a couple of the colors, some of the round drills have a little bit of extra around the base, and some of them are a little bit on the small side. It's, you know, about what I might expect from any company, really. It's not a huge deal to me. It just means I sort of have to pick around a little bit and make sure I don't accidentally grab a drill that looks bad, but they're not all over the place. They're just enough that I noticed and I went, oh, that's, you know, maybe a little more than Diamond Art Club, which is kind of my fallback for what I compare everything to, because it's the company that most people are most familiar with, and because they do have a pretty high standard as well. So I'm happy with the drill quality. The main issue that I'm running into at the moment is that there are parts of the adhesive, it's poured glue, there are parts of the adhesive, especially, namely close to the edges, where it just doesn't feel as sticky. If you happen to actually be watching, which when I'm watching WIP Chats, I'm watching them, which means I'm really just listening to them. If you happen to be watching and have noticed, I have had already, and just in this video, there have been a couple of times where the drills haven't wanted to quite come off of the multiplacer, and I've had to like try a couple of times to put them down. It's not the end of the world, but it's enough that it makes me go, oh, the adhesive could be a little stickier. And I'm not using particularly sticky wax in my multiplacer. I use just the Museum putty in mine, and it's not something that's usually holding on to stuff, you know what I mean? It's not like the patty wax, super sticky, which will like lift up the whole canvas. So, you know, this adhesive and this problem that I'm running into with it reminds me very strongly of some of the older Distracted by Diamonds kits that I've worked on, like the Halloween kitty that I just finished, and there was a mermaid kit that I had done a few months back. That they're both from older runs from Distracted by Diamonds before Robin made lots of changes, which included like putting her kits in boxes and improving the adhesive quality. Sorry, I feel like I'm already gonna have to refill on this WIP wax, but I don't know how well I filled it the first time. Anyway, yeah, okay. What was I saying? Oh, that this just reminds me of those older Distracted by Diamonds canvases where the adhesive near the edges in particular just didn't feel super sticky. Now, in the case of both those older Distracted by Diamonds canvases and this canvas, even though the adhesive didn't seem super sticky when I was putting drills down, I've not had any problems. Like, oh, well, I'm just going to go ahead and go eat my words then, because I ran my hand over that and the drill just popped up. Okay. That didn't happen in my video yesterday. Well, there you go. What I was going to say, and I guess I need to modify it now. I haven't, it's just, yeah, that's really funny. I'm going to leave it in. We're keeping it authentic here. I have not had problems with the drills falling off of the canvas or coming off of the canvas. So it's almost like once the adhesive sets, it's a little more secure. I can't believe that happened. That's really funny. Okay, well, there you have it. We'll see. We'll see how it goes long term, especially because I'm going to be working on this project for a little bit longer than I might otherwise be. A project like this that has rounds, that has round drills and has a number of opportunities for color blocking. Usually these kits would go relatively quickly for me, but actually hold please. Let me decide what color I want to do next. Why am I so indecisive about this? Let's go with the equals sign. Okay, here we go. Anyway, as I was saying, normally with canvases like this, I would kind of fly through them a little bit because, I mean, honestly, I'm usually much faster with round drill kits than squares, and when there's color blocking, I can go quickly. However, if you happen to follow me on Instagram as well, you may have a guess why this kit is taking me a little bit longer. And that is because I did, in fact, begin my giant Josephine wall kit. And let me tell you, that project, that is absolutely going to take me months, actual months, which is fine. I'm excited to have a long-term project like that. And yeah, I think I need to refill this WIP wax. Let me give this a good try and see if maybe I didn't quite get it loaded all the way. Oh my goodness. I don't want to... I'd read someone say, I thought someone had said stabbing it was the way to go, but I don't feel like it's really getting in there. I may message Laura and ask, because I don't want to tell you guys like, oh, don't get this product, because that's not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying that there is, no matter what kind of wax you use, there's absolutely going to be a learning curve. See, I think scooping seemed to work a little bit better. Every different wax out there has a different like good strategy for loading. So if a particular wax if you're finding you just can't get it to work for you, I recommend taking a look on YouTube, like just searching for videos on that particular wax, like how to use patty wax or how to use X, Y, or Z, and see if maybe you can find something a video that'll help you with tips to use those. Speaking of which, I've had a couple of people ask me if I could do videos on a couple of particular things, which I love, by the way. If there's ever anything in particular that you'd like to see from me, whether it's a how-to video or a certain company or tool you'd like me to try, I am all about it. Just shoot me a message, and I love taking suggestions in that sense. So I had someone ask if I would be able to do a video on tips for multi-placing. So I will definitely work on that. And speaking of multi-placing, I am using my Everlasting Tips 9 placer. If you haven't heard of these, this was an idea that was conceived and brought to life, produced by a gal named A Diamond Painting Lady. I'll link her Etsy store and her Instagram handle. She is incredibly sweet. This was her original idea, even though I have seen it copied now since then. She is Australia-based, however, the shipping times are super reasonable, and I've been extremely happy with her products, and she's someone that I love getting to support. So she makes some multi-placers in different sizes, as well as some stainless steel tips, which I don't have in this particular pen, but I have in some of my other pens. She makes an all-in-one steel tip, which is where even this part is the stainless steel as well. And she also makes straighteners. The benefit of getting a everlasting tip like this is that you don't have to worry about them breaking. This is a problem that's kind of common with the plastic multi-placers that come with kits, or the ones that you can buy off of Amazon, where just over time, the pressure that you put on the plastic from picking up multiple drills, it'll wear grooves in the plastic to the point where it just won't pick up the drills anymore. You can file it down to make it, flat again, and then it'll pick up for a while, but eventually you'll file it down to nothing. And especially if you're a heavy-handed placer, that can happen relatively quickly. So while the everlasting tips are a larger investment up front, you don't have to deal with the plastic breaking, and with the tips, you don't have to deal with the metal warping over time, which in my experience, has not taken that much time to actually do. So someone had asked if I could do a video on multi-placing, so I will be working on that video. I'll include how just tips for multi-placing, both with the plastic tips as well as with the everlasting tips, because I find that I have to do it a little bit differently for each one, just because of the nature of how they're made. And I did also have someone ask if I would be able to do a video on how I use patty wax. So I will also do that as well, and share the waxes that I like to use, my go-tos really, when I'm not trying something new, my fallbacks, which actually they vary depending on whether or not it's a stainless steel multi-placer or a plastic multi-placer or a brass single tip or an everlasting single tip. Like, I literally have a different wax or wax alternative that I like to use for each one. So keep an eye out for that. Going back a little bit to the Josephine Wall kit that I was mentioning, because everyone here got really excited when I did the unboxing of that kit, I decided to move that up in my just priority list for projects to work on. So originally I was thinking that I would just wait until the new year to work on that kit, but I had so much fun unboxing it, and you guys seem to have so much fun unboxing it, both here and over on my Instagram account, that I decided last week, I'm going to try mapping out kitting it up. And I recorded that video along with an blurb before and after, like an intro with my thought process on why I was going about kitting it up the way that I was, and how I had mapped everything out ahead of time to hopefully make less work for myself. And then I did a time lapse of me actually kitting everything up, and then I did sort of a post kitting up thoughts. And my thought behind that was not, hey, just look at me kit up 220 colors, which, by the way, if you're not sure what I'm talking about right now, I'm talking about a kit that I purchased from Diamond Painting Deutschland by the artist Josephine Wall, and it is legally licensed. It is 100 by 75 centimeters. It's huge, and it has 220 colors. I will link to that unboxing video up here in the eye if you'd like to go watch that. It is something. Anyway, so my thought process behind doing that video on kitting it up was I just wanted to share my experience and observations just for that particular process, for anyone that might be thinking that they want to try to do one of these kits themselves, because it just is so wildly different from any other kit that I've kitted up. It took a lot more planning. It took a lot longer in general. It took multiple storage systems. It was a whole different kind of project. And if I can spare anyone a little bit of headache or trial and error, I'm happy to pass that along. So that video hasn't gone up yet because I just need to edit around some things and kind of tweak some things, and so I'm hoping to have that up really soon here in the next few days, hopefully. But after I kitted up that ridiculous project, then I initially thought, well, let me just take the time to kit it up, and that way I sort of have it in the background for if I just feel the itch to work on it. Well, literally, I kitted it up and immediately had the itch to work on it. I was like, I just have to try. I just have to put some drills on the canvas and see what I think. Oh my gosh, you guys. So, literally, a 2x2 inch square that was maybe not even twice as large as this tin of WIP wax, like literally, like the 2 square inch bit of canvas, took me an hour and a half to do. And there are a number of reasons for that, but I had a minute after I did that where I was like, I had to walk away and take a deep breath and go, I'm never gonna get this canvas done. I should just put it away or find someone to donate it to, because I am never going to get this canvas done. What have I gotten myself into? It took me an hour and a half to complete like 1/1000th of the canvas. I don't know. But then after I caught my breath and thought it through a little bit, I thought, okay, I'll let you go. Dropping drills everywhere here, people. I thought, okay, yeah, I don't know, guys, this WIP wax is not wanting to hold on to these drills super well. It's probably user error. Which, side note, just because if you see me struggling with a particular kind of wax or product, absolutely do not let that scare you off a particular product, because different people place their diamonds very differently. Some people are really good about, picking their diamonds up straight up and down. Some people are more of an angle. I'm the latter. And some people press really hard or don't press really lightly. All this to say, your mileage may vary on any particular product when it comes to pens and wax and tips and all of that. So what works for me may not work well at all for you. I know a lot of people that they can't get patty wax to work for them, but that is my consistent fallback for my single placer. Sorry, I didn't want anyone to think that I was saying don't try WIP wax because I'm having a little bit of trouble with it. That's not at all what I'm saying. And I always give myself plenty of time to try out a product, because with any product there is a learning curve, for sure. So, as I was saying about the Josephine Wall kit, after I had the chance to catch my breath and try to think more strategically about it, I realized, okay, so the symbols on the canvas itself, the symbols on the canvas itself are a little bit blurry. So, that first square that I worked on, I spent a lot of time just really carefully studying the symbols to make sure that I was picking the right ones, the right drills to go there. With a kit that has 220 colors in it, I feel like just by nature they're going to have to use a lot of symbols that are very similar. There are probably 10 variations of squares with dots in them and various numbers of sides, and they are all different symbols. And on a canvas that is not crystal clear, like we're so spoiled by with Diamond Art Club and something like this, I just was being really deliberate and making sure that I was not placing the wrong colors, because if I'm going to put all this time and effort into doing this, I want to be absolutely sure I'm doing it right. So I thought, okay, some of this took extra time just because I was studying the symbols, and I also had to hunt for every symbol in my storage. Oops, sorry about that. So I thought, I'm not going to panic, because I think inherently this will get faster. And surely it's not going to be this confetti crazy the entire time. Spoiler alert, I'm pretty sure it is going to be that crazy the entire time. But, yeah, so I've worked on it a little bit I seem to be working on the Josephine wall kit during the day, just in really, really, really small sections. I haven't gotten that far at all, but I'll keep you guys posted and show you guys an update soon. And then working on this kit, The Stars Who Listen, in the evenings. So we'll see. I am grateful for my husband, who continually reminds me that I don't need to, that I shouldn't be worrying about like speed, and I shouldn't worry about like running out of content to share and that kind of thing. He's like, this is a hobby that you picked up because you enjoy and it's relaxing for you. And so just try to remember to keep it that way. It's a good reminder for me, because I don't want it to ever be about anything other than that. So yeah, so how are you guys doing tonight? I meant to ask that much earlier. What are you guys working on? How are you feeling just with, the state of the world right now is really intense, and I mean, I know it's been tough here. I had wanted to share a little bit about mental health. It's a subject that I'm really passionate about, and I'm also very open about. And it's one of those subjects that I don't feel like we talk enough about. There's definitely a taboo, a stigma attached to it. I feel like as a country we're moving potentially in the right direction, just where I feel like people are starting to talk about it more openly, and there's more of a sense that like, okay, we need to make mental health a priority and caring for people's mental health a priority. But I just feel really strongly that it's important for those who feel like they have the margin and desire to share to do so, because there's something just so powerful about hearing someone else say the words, me too. Yeah, I've struggled with my mental health too, or yes, this is what this looked like for me too, and it's okay, you're not alone. So I'm very thankful that I grew up with parents that were very aware of the importance of taking care of your mental health. I do have a family history of depression. My grandma and my mom both dealt with it pretty severely, and so there was always a sense of an open conversation there, which I'm so grateful for, and I am trying really hard to model that for my kids as well. Even though they're very young, it's good to start young with how we talk about things like subjects like this, so that there's not any sense of shame or anything like that they internalize. So the first time that I went to a therapist was when I was like a senior in high school, which was like mid-2000s, and I was just having a really hard time with the concept of the transition to college, and I think I came to my mom and said, Mom, I just feel sad and I don't know why. Like, I have really good friends and social circle. I'm really involved with, like, school's going fine. Like, there's no reason for me to be sad. Everything's going my way. I mean, generally, very, very generally speaking. So I appreciated that she heard me and was like, well, sure, let's go to a therapist and see if they have just some tools and ideas for things that might help. Now we went to a therapist, and unfortunately it wasn't the best experience because I chatted with her for like 20 minutes, and then she basically was like, okay, well, we can start you on medication. And I'm 16, 17 at the time, and I was like, no, I'm good. I did not feel that it was that extreme. I kind of just wanted someone to talk to. So my mom, felt bad and was like, we can, we'll find someone else. We can go from here. And I don't know. It was kind of just like a funk that I snapped out of, and I ended up not seeing anyone else at that time. College was really tough for me. I kept a super, super, super busy schedule because I was trying to graduate. I did graduate in 4 years from a program that really should have taken me 5. My mental health suffered quite a bit, and I recognized that I was going through phases of depression, but they would last for a few months, and then I'd sort of get to come out of it. And so I always thought, well, as long as I'm coming out of it on my own, like, I just am gonna hunker down and power through, which is not how I would recommend handling that. That's how I handled it. And then, through my adult life so far, before I had kids, I would go through phases where I would feel like, okay, yeah, here's the hallmarkers for me of depression. It usually came alongside of transitions, which is very common, like if we moved, or if I had a job change, or if I don't know, the seasons even are tied to it for me. I joke about having reverse seasonal affective disorder, where I'm much, much, much happier when it's cold out. I really don't like being hot, and I get headaches, that are triggered by heat and bright sun and all that. I don't know. So then my oldest is 5, and while I didn't struggle with like postpartum depression, I was still in or what I thought of as postpartum depression. I was still in a little bit of a funk up until kind of got my mojo back a year or so after he was born. Do I have a drill? There's a drill on there. Okay. And then, what was I going to say? My husband had kind of a tough time after my first was born. But super grateful that he is very much on the same page as I am in terms of not being hesitant to seek out support when he needs it for mental health. So that's a conversation that's always been open for us. I know it's not the case for a lot of people, but it helped in our case. So after my second was born, I felt like I just wasn't getting my mom mojo back. I still just didn't really feel like myself, and shortly after, it was a few months after his first birthday, I had just a little bit of a breakdown, like a panic attack and existential crisis all wrapped into one, one evening after the kids went to bed, and I just sort of fell apart to my husband, and I don't know why I had been shy about sharing what was going on in my head, but he was very quick to say, I get it, this is what I was dealing with after our first was born, it doesn't have to be like this. Let's get some help. You don't have to, this is not normal. You don't have to just power through this. This is not something you have to do alone. And I kept kind of coming up with excuses well, how are we going to make this happen? With the kids. And I'm still nursing my toddler, and, you know, the two kids are a handful and everything. And so I thought, how, just the logistics, blah, blah. He's like, we'll figure it out. This is important. You need to take care of you. You can't pour from an empty cup. And there's just this like crazy expectation that society has, our American society has, of mothers. They're going to just like sacrifice everything in the name of taking care of their kids, which, like, of course, as parents, you make sacrifices, but you don't have to give up taking care of yourself for that, you know? So I went to first I went and saw a psychologist, and then actually had a really poor experience with them, but he referred me to a psychiatrist. And I've been on medication for a year, and it has changed my life. And I mean that literally, quite literally. And I share about it freely because there is a big taboo around the idea of being on medication. I was resistant to the idea for years because I didn't want to be a zombie. I didn't want to become dependent. I just didn't want to like open that can of worms. I thought once I start down this path, like there's going to be absolutely no going back. It's just going to be a mess. I'm not going to, like, it's, it's just going to be more trouble than it's worth. It's easier to deal with what I know. It's easier to just deal with the emotions that I'm familiar with. I don't want to add a new element to it. Thankfully, I was able to try something starting at, low dose, and something that I had told my doctor very frankly what my concerns were. I said, I don't want to have all these crazy side effects. I don't want it to be worse than if I just would have never started it, blah, blah, blah. And they've heard all of this before, and they have good places for you to start because of that. So, one of the things that I think, especially for women, what we don't realize is that anxiety doesn't always look like being afraid. Like, anxiety doesn't always look like I'm afraid to go out of the house, or I'm afraid that something bad is going to happen. Depression doesn't always look like I can't get out of bed. Often it does, and often that's one of the symptoms. What was kind of like a revelation for me was realizing that my anxiety, which that's really more of what I was dealing with in depression at this time, my anxiety was manifesting as rage, which I've mentioned this to a couple of people recently, and like it's really funny because they have the same reaction. They're like, I can't even picture you angry. And I'm like, well, yeah, no, it's not, it's embarrassing. It's not a good look. It's not, it really was manifesting in my parenting. I just was not patient with my kids. I felt like I would get super frustrated super easily, and I knew, it was like I was on the outside looking in. It was like I knew that I didn't want to be as angry as I felt in that moment, but it felt like I didn't have any control over it. I didn't realize how much anxiety and depression can tie into and manifest as these completely seemingly unrelated emotions until all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, it was gradual, it took some time to sort of get used to the medication, but I felt level. I felt like I had a clear head. I shouldn't say past tense because I still feel that way. And I feel like I have more control over myself, and I don't feel like a zombie. I still I cry when I'm sad. I laugh like a crazy person when, my toddler and his older brother do ridiculous things. Like, I don't know, the things that I was so worried about, I'm extremely grateful that those haven't been things I've had to deal with. So, all this to say, if you're struggling with emotions and feelings like this, or if you just feel like there's something that's not quite right or something that's going on and it doesn't look like the cheesy commercials for antidepressants or something like that, it's really it is okay for you to seek out some help, to ask for help. Because someone said to me when I was, dragging my feet, that I don't really know that I said, I don't really know that this is something that I need help with. And they're like, but what is the worst that can happen? You go to a therapist and they tell you, now you're good. No, we all have stuff that we could use to work through. But even if it's, if it's a therapist saying well, now these are normal emotions to have, but let me give you some tools to help work through that have absolutely nothing to do with me sending you for medication. It's, what is the harm? You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I hope that maybe something in here resonated with you. And if it's something that you want to hear from someone else, again, the reminder that you're not the only one that has dealt with something like this. That's something that like I said, I feel strongly about, and I'm always so appreciative when I feel that sense of, okay, I'm not in this alone. And if you're not one to want to reach out, I get that completely too. Excuse me. I just wanted to share, resources as well. So if you have insurance, the one thing that I have noticed with this pandemic is that a lot of insurance companies seem to realize how big of a concern mental health is for a lot of people. And if you call your insurance company, they can usually direct you to professionals that are covered and that have, availability and stuff. And if you don't have insurance, there are, depending on where you live, there are a lot of places that actually have what they call sliding scale payment plans, where it's income based, so you're not looking at having to pay these exorbitant fees out of pocket. And that was something I didn't realize was even an option until I started digging into it myself. So there are lots of options out there. If you have a religious organization that you're a part of, often there are resources there as well that are often free. So that's worth looking into as well. But I know a lot of us are struggling with our mental health right now. I mean, frankly, didn't so many of us come to this hobby, come to diamond painting, because they find it as a way to ease their anxiety and sort of calm their brains and relax their brains? It's just something that, like I said, I wish that more people were open and talked about it, so that people were more, people were less hesitant to seek out help if they need it. So that was a really, really, really long foray into that subject. Like I said, it's something I apparently have very strong feelings on. And I understand if it's not something that you want to share about openly, but if something did resonate with you and you did want to share in the comments, please feel free to. And hopefully this, I don't know, even though I was fully willing to and wanted to share about it, it is a little bit nerve-wracking to put myself out there that much, so we'll see. As far as I did all that talking. Water. Goodness gracious, it's 50 minutes now. Okay. Before I wrap up here, I was just going to say, as far as what's coming next and what I'm looking ahead at as far as diamond painting and the channel goes. Like I said, I'm going to work on getting together that, I need a color. I'm going to work on editing together that video of me kitting up the Josephine wall. I'm also looking ahead at, I think I want to order one of the new pre-printed canvases from Heaven and Earth Designs, which, if you haven't heard of them before, they actually are primarily known for doing cross-stitching patterns, everything legally licensed with artists, but they have just a huge selection. And they have, for some time now, offered charts that if you see a piece of art that you want to do as a diamond painting, you can purchase a chart and then turn around and get a blank canvas, diamond painting canvas with, a grid, and then you would order the drills yourself, and you would look at the pattern. There'd be no symbols or anything on the canvas because it's blank, but you would have the pattern and the chart that you would follow to make that piece of art, that chart, as a diamond painting. I think this has gotten quite a bit more popular recently, and so just last month, I believe, Heaven and Earth Designs launched a diamond painting pre-printed canvas section of their company. They're calling it Crown Jewel Designs. I'll link it below. But they're doing it all in-house. There's a Facebook group that's super helpful, especially if you're new to the idea of doing something like this. But they do the poured glue in-house, and in the Facebook group, like, the owner is posting pictures of them doing the poured glue and then setting it out to dry on the racks. It's really interesting, and it's cool that they're doing that in-house. And they have a really, really wide selection. Not everything is available as a pre-printed diamond painting canvas, because like I said, they're doing everything above board with licensing, and for whatever reason, some charts that they're able to carry for cross-stitch kits, they are not able to carry as pre-printed canvases. You guys, copyright and licensing is so complicated. I'm so glad I'm not, like, a diamond painting company owner that has to, like, make sure I'm jumping through all of these hoops to do everything above board. Anyway, I have my eye on a couple of canvases from them, and as I've mentioned before, one of my long-term goals is I would like to get a canvas from each company that does legally licensed artwork to review for you guys, and also just for myself to see, like, okay, what are my favorite companies, what I feel like is worth it, what do the different companies offer, pros and cons, that kind of thing. So the one kicker with the Crown Jewel canvases, which is again the name of Heaven and Earth Designs pre-printed diamond painting canvas section, as of this moment, and I don't believe that they have plans to change this for a while, when you're ordering from their website, you are only purchasing the canvas. They do not offer drills at this time. Now, they have a couple of different places that they can point you to order drills from, where you can just send the chart over, and those places will put together, the drills that you need, and you can buy them that way. So there are those extra steps. Again, the Facebook group for the diamond painting canvases from Heaven and Earth Designs has been very, very helpful. Lots of people there that have worked on these kits, that are working on these kits or have ordered them or have done the blank canvases before. It's a great resource to have. So that's on my radar to maybe try. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be focusing on working on my two current WIPs. This one on the giant Josephine wall canvas. But like I mentioned earlier, if there's ever anything specific you'd enjoy seeing from me or any specific videos you'd like me to do, I'm always welcoming suggestions, and I'm actually excited for the suggestions that I have gotten, genuinely. So I'm glad to get to those soon. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions at all about the many things that I chatted about today. This is, I think, my longest WIP and chat to date, my longest video to date too. And also feel free to share if you have any fun plans for the weekend with Halloween, and what projects you're working on now. Anything exciting you have planned coming up too. I'm trying to get back to comments a little more quickly lately. I'm enjoying getting to chat with and know you guys there. I say it every time, and I say it in earnest every time, that I'm really grateful for all of you. I did not expect this to be something that would gather more than a couple of followers that are basically, I thought, okay, so my friends that have to subscribe, the ones that are going to show up. But it has been so fun to see new faces here and to get to know new friends here, and that you guys are maybe enjoying some of the things I'm sharing with you. So it's been fun. You guys warm my hearts. So genuinely, again, thank you for being here. And if you take the time to hit the thumbs up button, if my videos are something that you enjoy, and even comments are just lovely. I love it. If you're new here and you want to see more from me, I promise they're not usually this long. Feel free to hit the subscribe button and the bell that'll notify you anytime I post new videos, which is absolutely not on a schedule because, as I mentioned earlier, I have a 5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old, and they keep me hopping all day. So with that, I will let you guys go. I made some decent progress on the stars who listened tonight, so that was good. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight, and I hope you all have a great week, and I'll talk to you again next time. Bye, friends.